All right, folks, we saw Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina this week resign. He's going to greener pastures at the Heritage Foundation. And one of the names being talked about as a replacement for Governor Nikki Haley to appoint in his place is Tim Scott, congressman from South Carolina. If so, he would be the only black United States senator, the second African-American Republican since Reconstruction. Edward Brooke was a Republican from Massachusetts in the late 60s and early 70s. So, panel, your thoughts about this, and how will black America respond? No, Armstrong can't wait to jump in, being a South Carolina guy. What about some shrimp and grits in the U.S. Senate?
You know, that's so unfair and beneath you to make a comment like that. I'm shocked. It's so beneath you.
Okay, y'all, folks in South Carolina love shrimp and grits. I'm trying to say, I'm trying to help the GDP of South Carolina.
No, look, Tim Scott and Jim DeMint are, Jim DeMint is his mentor. Yes, I'm from South Carolina. Senator DeMint is
and
a
yes,
friend.
You like shrimp and grits.
I'm not going to comment on that. I'm going to leave that to you.
I like shrimp and grits, but I'm from Detroit. But I still like shrimp and grits.
But anyhow, DeMint made it clear to Governor Nikki Haley that when he was leaving, she was in on the negotiations, that he wanted Tim Scott to succeed him. And there's a very strong possibility that will work. I think the governor of South Carolina wants it for herself, given the fact that her approval ratings in the state is 38%. But that's just not going to happen. That would be wonderful. And then not because he's black. He's not Alan West. He's someone who's forceful, he's thoughtful, he doesn't seek the limelight, he's a very good legislator, and his approval ratings in his own state is almost like 70%. Remember, he beat Strom Thurmond's son. Defeated him in a landslide to win that seat.
I mean, I would love to have Congressman Tim Scott on the show. We've been inviting him for quite some time. So, you know, Tim, you come hang out with the brothers over here. You know, we have shrimp and grits in the black room.
We should
Angela?
talk about one thing I do want. You brought up Alan West. At least Congressman West joined the Congressional Black Caucus, oftentimes at odds with his colleagues, but nonetheless, I respect him for that. With Tim Scott, I think that he does have a strong chance. I don't think Nikki Haley wants it. I hear that people are saying something different, but I don't think she wants that seat. The challenge that I have is the appearance of this, right? With the Republican Party, there was this huge negative backlash last week about the appointment of the Republican chairs.
19 chairs, all white guys. They slid in one woman.
Yeah, for the next day for House administration, which she's never served on. So then this week, lo and behold, ta-da, there's a black man who has not even finished his first term in Congress who may get this appointment. It is because he's black. And I don't think that that's necessarily a positive.
It's because he's conservative.
Angela always makes some good points, but I have to disagree with you a little bit. Look, the guy served. He served in leadership. Okay, so he's been at the leadership table. He understands how to deal He understands how to deal with the Republican on the NRCC. He understands politics. You look at his staff. He's got a talented staff over there. Jennifer and Mike McEwen. He's got a great team over there. He's also a conservative.
But I want to know for our audience, what will it mean for black folks? Because again, I mean, to Angela's point, Congressman Scott chose not to join the Congressional Black Caucus. And go ahead.
I love that point when she makes it up. Because let's look at this. J.C. Watts and Gary Franks. J.C. Watts didn't join the Congressional Black Caucus, but he got an African American History Museum done with John Lewis. He got he got healthcare issues done with Donna Christensen, American Community Renewal.
Tell me one thing Tim Scott has done to J.C. Watt's point. You're talking about his legacy. Tell me one thing Tim Scott has done with the Black Caucus or in partnership with African Americans in Congress.
It's going to be good. So it's going to be good.
But here's my response. I think that's difficult to answer.
No, it's not.
I can't name one.
Go to his district. Go to his district.
Go to his
national
legislation.
Are you measuring him strictly by what he's going to do for black people when he deserves that seat?
Did you hear his point? Were you listening to his last point?
But you're measuring him in the terms of black.
Hold up, time out. Okay, hold on 1 second. First of all, hold up. First of all, I always assume qualified anyway. I don't qualify qualified.
That's right.
So I do that. But I'm asking again.
Right.
Because Elroy set it up by saying, essentially, this is what Congressman Watts did that black folks would like.
Right.
So to Angela's point, I need somebody to answer. What has Congressman Scott done
I'm going to try to answer
that the brothers and the sisters might say, all right, bro.
Right. Now,
regardless of party, right?
I was speaking when JC was in leadership, he worked on legislation that went to the president that got signed into law that was specifically or germanely targeted to African Americans. part of the challenge that we've had over the last 2 years and get legislation specifically targeted to African Americans is that the president hasn't led on specific legislation that's targeted to African Americans. You name one piece of legislation that the president
American Jobs Act, and I will tell you
that was specifically targeted to African Americans.
Let me tell you why. Yes, it is. Listen, Elroy, the reason why I can say with confidence and can pass a lie detector test on this is because nine of the proposals that the Congressional Black Caucus put before the White House are included in that bill. Targeting. We don't do rising tide lifts all boats. Okay. So we definitely know that that's targeting.
I think what's important.
I'm going to break into this.
My question's still not answered. Roland.
Steve, I'm the only white guy here, but let me get into this.
I'm Armstrong. I'm convinced that Armstrong believes he's a competent legislator. The fact is the U.S. Senate doesn't look like America. It should look like America, and that's disgusting that it doesn't. And so whether or not he passes all the right litmus tests, it's a good thing. That said, Mitt Romney just won as many non-white voters as Ronald Reagan did in the last election. It gave Reagan a landslide. This country's become very different, and the GOP put its bets on non-white voters. Now it's running as fast as it can to find non-white tokens to put into place, whether it's in the Senate, whether it might be running the party. And that doesn't necessarily change the beast that's underneath.
And here's the deal.
You've got to look at,
Steve,
one, he should be in the Senate, but two, we ought to be skeptical of tokenism.
Steve, here's the deal. One second. Hold up. I got this. I'm not going to call Congressman Scott a token.
Yeah, I think so.
And I didn't either.
I understand.
I just said beware.
All I've simply been saying, first of all, again, I would like to see the congressman come on this show, talk to our black audience. It hasn't happened in 11 months, and I personally asked 3 times. Also, but the reason I'm saying, in terms from an African American standpoint,
you might not like shrimp and grits.
Well, I'm saying, we can have some biscuits. I'm saying from an African American standpoint, in terms of being the U.S. Senator, the reality is whether you have women in the U.S. Senate, whether you have people who are Hispanic in the U.S. Senate or Asian, it is a question of in terms of a relationship with the community. Right. We just had J.C. Watts on this show saying have to have a relationship. Armstrong Scott's district is not. It's a predominantly white district.
Let me address real quick. I literally just had lunch with a member of the Congressional Black Caucus this week, and this topic came up, and he said, while Congressman Scott may not be a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, when they're trying to get Republican support on issues that are very important to that community, he's always there. Privately, he doesn't. I'm not going to get into that
Exactly.
Okay. But the bottom line is,
now she's the executive director of the Black Caucus.
You know what?
She said she don't know about it.
I'm not here.
I'm just checking. I'm just asking.
Don't bring up a point that you can't defend.
I am free to bring up whatever I choose to bring up.
You're right.
That's what this panel is about.
Okay.
They said that, and this is from a member of Congress, not some executive director of the Congress, that they work with them, and he's very effective in getting the ear of key Republicans that they need.
Angela, final point.
On what issue? The only question I've asked, and you can get upset and very colorful. The only question I've asked is on what issue, and I still don't have that question answered. So I respect your opinion. I'm not going to belittle your role.
That's the bottom.
But I reject what you're saying. It's not based on fact.
Folks, up next.